Welcome to Dr. Balaga's God Knowledge Doc podcast, your quick dive into the latest medical breakthroughs to keep you ahead of the curve. Let's get started. Today is December 10, 2025. This video is on an article published in Science magazine in the news section on 2nd December 2025. A remarkable report by Jeannie Erin Smith on the brain's hidden plumbing, new pathways, new hopes. Today we follow a story that whispers beneath the cortex, the cerebral cortex, a tale of a brain with pipes, valves and currents, a tale of a ghostly network that no one believed existed until about a decade ago. It's a story of the glymphatic system, the brain owns plumbing system, and how this discovery has set off a global hunt for new therapies for Alzheimer's disease, for elegant molecular tweaks to surgeries bold enough to make even seasoned neurosurgeons raise an eyebrow. This is the original Science article. The revelation, a hidden river, is the discovery of the glymphatic system, the meningeal lymphatics, and sleep-link clearing of amyloid and tau. Imagine inside the brain, nestled around the arteries and veins, run shimmering microchannels. They pulse with cerebrospinal fluid, clearing metabolic debris, amyloid, tau, and the assorted detritus of a thinking life. In 2012, Jeffrey Iliff and Mike Nergard and colleagues described this glymphatic system. 3 years later, researchers added a companion network, tiny meningeal lymphatic vessels shepherding waste towards the neck's lymph nodes. This river works best during sleep, poor sleep, aging, and traumatic brain injury. Each clogs or bends the flow in these rivers. The downstream consequence, greater vulnerability to neurodegeneration. A recent preprint from Iliff's team showed that these channels flushing both amyloid and tau from the human brain, perhaps explaining why fractured sleep shadows dementia risk. It's biology with a touch of poetry. The brain cleans itself only when we surrender consciousness. Maybe that's why meditation works better. Drug strategies. Researchers are now attempting to fortify and accelerate these flows. Wenzhen Duan at Johns Hopkins has taken aim at the lymphatics themselves. Her team uses VEGF-C, a vessel-growing protein, to strengthen meningeal lymphatics in Huntington's disease mice. The result? Faster clearance of mutant Huntington and improved motor coordination. She also boosted Aquaporin-4, the astrocytic protein that shapes glymphatic channels, via gene therapy. Again, better clearance, lower toxic burden. Elsewhere, in the state of Maryland, at the University of Maryland, Rashad Hussain tackled vasomotion, the general vascular pulsations that drive CSF through these tiny conduits. After traumatic brain injury, excess norepinephrine dumps these pulses. Her team used a cocktail of alpha and beta blockers to restore vasomotion, normalize sleep, and enhance clearance in mice. As Hussain notes, traumatic brain injury doesn't cause Alzheimer's overnight, but maybe improved clearance could slow the long arc towards neurodegeneration. It's not fiction. It's a quiet evolution of neurotherapeutics. Mechanical approaches, touching the brain without touching the brain. These include lymph node stimulation, head-neck massage, carbon dioxide breathing to enhance flow. So, if the molecules aren't enough, why not try mechanics? In Korea, Gao Young Ko's group revived lymphatic drainage in aged mice using a jaw node stimulation device. At the University of Arizona, Mitchell Bartlett gave mice twice daily head and neck massages for 2 months. The results? Better cognition, less amyloid, lower blood markers of neurodegeneration. A clinical trial may be next. Maybe go to your favorite masseuse. As in New Mexico, Safira Ryman used dilute carbon dioxide inhalation to dilate cerebral vessels. This boosted vasomotion and accelerated the washout of neurogenerative peptides in both older adults and Parkinson's patients. A breath, a touch, and a pulse, each altering the brain's currents. The bold frontier, surgery as plumbing. Surgery, deep cervical lymphovenous anastomosis in Alzheimer's disease. It's the most daring and controversial frontier, developed in China by plastic surgeon Xingping Shi. It adapts a common lymphedema surgery. Surgeons connect lymphatic vessels in the neck directly to veins, hoping to open the drain for brain waste clearance. A new meta-analysis suggests more than 1,300 Alzheimer's patients in China are currently enrolled in trials with deep cervical lymphovenous anastomosis. The largest published report, 41 patients, mild to moderate Alzheimer's, showed improved amyloid and tau levels 3 months after surgery with reported cognitive gains. Chinese teams call it transformative. Skeptics call it premature. Some call it plumbing theater. Neurobiologist Rosalind Bill argues lymphatic dysfunction occurs inside astrocytes. Making the clogged pipe analogy is simplistic. Others fear that uncontrolled enthusiasm is overshadowing rigorous methodology. But Boda and Pomahak at Yale, once skeptical, is now collaborating with WashU, Washington University, to launch a rigorously controlled US trial. That is, if the funding materializes. Here, skepticism and hope dance in delicate suspension. Old drugs with new purposes. Repurposed drugs, trifluoroperazine, prazosin, are attempts to measure and enhance glymphatic clearance. Bill herself revisited an old antipsychotic trifluoroperazine which stabilizes Aquaporin-4. In mice with CNS edema, the drug restored behavior so completely that the animals appeared as though they had never been injured. Eilif's group is studying prazosin, another old drug, noting retrospective data hinting at lower dementia risk in veterans using it for trauma-related nightmares. I guess sometimes the future hides in pharmacy shelves from decades ago. Future of glymphatic therapeutics. There's the promise, the uncertainty, and emerging translational pathways. The glymphatic system has just been discovered, barely a teenager in scientific years. We still do not know whether its failure causes dementia or whether it is merely one witness among many at the crime scene. But circumstantial evidence grows. And so around the world, scientists are polishing channels, stretching vessels, altering pulses, massaging tissues, modulating sleep, breathing carbon dioxide, and repurposing drugs. And yes, even sewing lymphatics to veins. As Jeffrey Eilif says, 13 years ago, none of this existed. Today it feels like a map of the new worlds. I guess the river within the brain is whispering, and the world is finally listening. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with your colleagues. When we change how we see disease, we change how we shape lives. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep seeking wisdom. Podcast brought to you by masterbedfacts.com. This podcast is for physicians and healthcare providers. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and forward to your friends.